And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
It's good to be back. All right, let's see here.
Vacay is over.
Boy, is it. And I'm a little sad. I'm not gonna lie. I miss vacay already.
Miss
But
it already?
well, it's funny. I love going home, but we'll talk about that during the thing. But yeah. All right. So, all right. Let's see. Again, it's just not centered. It's kind of not centered either. About right there. All right, here we go. And I can pull that down a little. All right. I think we've got everything up and running. So, let's see here. All right.
We got. I think I have everything open on my side.
I just got to open my recording software, which I'm trying to remember the damn name of it.
It's not Audacity.
No. I use a different free one because it does multiple channels, so it lets me. It's Mixpad. It lets me do the soundboard on a separate channel. So, certify that Mixpad is being used for non-commercial. Well, since we don't get paid for this. Hello. Oh, that's you. Oh, hello, Jackaboy 112D. And Parkman. It kind of shrunk a little. I trimmed it for the reunion. All right. I think we're ready. So we could actually get the show going relatively on time. I mean, we're only 24 minutes late. All right, you got any... so stick around, patrons. You'll hear a funny sound effect. I have no idea what we'll talk about in, post-game because Star Trek's over. So I guess we could talk about stuff that came up during SSDD. Or maybe we'll find something else that we both enjoy. We'll see. But you'll hear a funny sound effect, and then we be gone. So here we go. All right, are you ready?
I am ready, sir.
All right, red button.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, click.
Click.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Planestalkers Podcast, the show by casuals for casuals. I'm your host, Will Benson, joined as always by I'm a big fan of vacation, but it's good to be back, co-host Aramis Perez. Aramis, sir, how are you tonight?
Not melting in my chair for the first time in what feels like forever.
Oh, you ain't wrong, dude.
It was warm.
It's been that's just it. Wendy and I were talking about that. Our anniversary always appears to be the hottest day of the year ever since we've been married. But before we even get into that, before we do anything else, we want to remind you that this episode and every episode of the Planestalkers podcast is sponsored by Kerwin's Game Store. Kerwin's Game Store is New York State's premier source for collectible card games, tabletop games, miniatures, comic books, retro video games, and toys. With their clean, open gaming areas available to everyone at one of their 3 locations, the Kerwin's Game Stores in Catskill, New York, or Poughkeepsie, New York, and the Adventures Awaits in Nyack, New York. I almost forgot Nyack that time, though. Kerwin's really is a wonderful place to go. It's one of the best places to go in gaming. They have a great website. You can find them at kgsonline.com. You also get 5% off any online order when you use the promo code Planestalkers at checkout. We also want to take a second to recognize our patrons of Rare Level and higher. Our Rare Level patrons Spencer, Chiba Tank, Bell, Levi, George, David, Brian, Apollo, Muertes, Parkman, and Dragon D's Nuts, as well as our producer level patrons John, Jake, Jamie, Vic, and Ian. We could not do this show without any of you, and we are just so thankful you guys come alongside the show the way you have and helped us out. We have a lot of great little perks that we give, most especially with Commander Craft and other things. Although this week, we'll probably be doing things a little bit different because we're going to be on site. But Commander Craft, you get first dibs, as well as, they got a pretty nice spiff when we did our booster box showdown. So they just help out a ton. Just to find out more, go to patreon.com/planestalkers. Want to remind you about Commander Craft, our Wednesday show where we play listeners like you using webcams and 4-person Commander, except for this week when we will actually be on site at the sponsor for Commander Craft, which is Flights 2 in Albany, New York. So you're going to want to check that out. We're playing an interesting little tidbit. It's Dave's birthday. and he has set the format to monocolored commanders. So this is going to be an interesting night. So at least it's not monocolored commanders with no, mana rocks, because oof. But just check it out. It's going to be a whole lot of fun Wednesday night. If you're in the Albany area, we'd love to have you guys stop in and play with us. If you have a monocolored commander, you can be on the table. Just let us know in our Discord. And we're finally proud to remind you that we are the flagship podcast for the Planestalkers network of podcasts. Our sister show, Cantrip Cartel, has been going very well. They're on Anchor at anchor.fm/Cantrip Cartel, and you can download them on most podcatchers. And you can also hit them up on our Discord. They have their whole area to themselves. And we were finally proud to announce that we are a part of the Geek to Geek Media Network. This is a network of geeky content, both podcasts, articles, game reviews, anything you want to see. But what's great about it is, unlike other gaming sites and geeky sites, it's dedicated to promoting positivity and inclusion, as opposed to toxicity and, general meanness. So it also showcases some awesome stuff. Just check it out at geek2geekmedia.com. But we are still in Untap, and while I'm untapping one of my favorite beers that I brought back from vacation, my Elysian Space Dust, a lovely triple IPA at 11% alcohol by volume, I would love, or 8.2 anyway. I want to ask Aramis, sir, how the hell are you? It's been a hot minute.
I'm sipping on some ice cold lemonade. If you have to know.
Oh well, I appreciate that. I think there's lemons in this somewhere.
I am doing very well. I mean, it's been warm the last week and change. Bit of a heat wave. I mean, nothing like what other parts of the country or world are experiencing, but 90s for 6 days straight is still 90s for 6 days straight. It's pretty warm. Getting a bit of a break from that for the next couple of days before it heats back up again into the 90s. But hey, I will take that over snow. I will take that over cold and snow and ice and all that other bull crap that comes with winter. So yes. I'm not going to complain too much about that. But everything's been going good. It's just glad to be back on the horse here. So we can beat it to death and laugh
I
at
think we're pretty much, from a programming standpoint. I mean, we might reserve the right to have a Monday off if there's not a lot of show news or anything like that. But for the most part, I mean, spoiler season for Dominaria United should kick in sometime around early August. So I imagine then we're gonna go to town. In fact, we've got to start thinking about our winner box actually. So we got to start. Actually, you and I got to probably get together on that as well as the fact that I think we've kind of opened a Pandora's box as far as the Booster Box Showdown. We're going to have to put some stakes on that somehow. So, I mean, I'll tell you, the week was amazing. It was so nice to have. I mean, I got some Magic in before I left town. We started inside the Discord at discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. We started this looking for group thing. So, but not only that, it's just guys kept. I shouldn't even say guys. I say guys in the vernacular, not the, gender. We're just looking for games to pick up, man. So I must have played like 3 or 4 pickup games last week before I left town. It was great, and so definitely check out the Discord for that. Now there's an LFG bot we'll talk about a little bit in Maine too. But other than that, I mean, in Magic stuff, I mean, my son came in the other day. Because my son-in-law is like, hey, since you're going to be out of town and I'm going to come and hang out with Nicholas, is it okay if I go through some of your cards? I'm trying to build a commander deck. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, anything on my desk, which is really all my good stuff. I'm like, I've got the long boxes back here and stuff. I'm like, you know what? Go through them. If there's something you want to use, absolutely. I mean, just let me know what it is in case you find a Ristic study I didn't know I had. And he pretty much, they came over, and then my son wanted to be he was like, I want to build a commander deck. So we worked together. You built the Mutate commander, didn't you? Otoro, or you have a Mutate commander, I thought.
That's a precon.
Yeah. He wants to build that, but, make it better. So so we have to order that guy. And, but he's real excited about it. So I proxied that for him, and he played it the other day. And then I just got a text message from him our first night out of town, because Logan was here, and he just sends me a thing, and he said, "Scoots go wide," and he shows me the 124 counters. Because he's looking at it. I'm like, oh no, you put Scoot Swarm in this. Absolutely, you put Scoot Swarm in this. So, and he had a blast. So, and I loved it. I went home. It was my 30th high school reunion, 30 years. 30. That happened. And that was, that's an interesting thing. Like, it's so weird to be where I was 10 years ago versus where I am now. And, I'm just like a completely different cat. That's the only reason I think you go to those things is it's a good barometer if you're somebody who's not worried about external like competition and like competing with your peers, because they all full of shit. So, but if if you're not worried about competing with your peers, it's a really good way to kind of take a stock and go, okay, 10 years ago, I mean, I was going through a divorce. My mom, this whole thing was going sideways. And I look at it now and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I was feeling really good. I had a great time. I love going home. And then I told my wife, because so many people are like, you ever think about moving home? You ever think about coming back to Canada? I'm like, I love coming home, but I also love leaving. Big fan of going away from that small town. So, but it was overall, I mean, I can't complain. Plus 3 years of marriage, and my wife's amazing. We went to nice dinners, and we had a good old time. Found a really cool hotel. Well, actually, more of a motel. But yeah, other than that, it was good. So, but that's not why people are here. So we have a pretty great show tonight. There's been a lot of stuff that came out in the last 10 days. So obviously we'll go into State of Standard first tonight, going into Upkeep, by the way. Then we're going to talk about the Dominaria United box topper stuff. You're absolutely right. You and I are probably going to end up ordering at least a collector booster as well as get our giveaways. So we'll probably do collector booster box showdown. Then we're going to go to combat. I don't believe we have one. I mean, we guess, talking about legends, we may fall into one. Then we're going to go into main 2, talk a little bit about the SDCC news. They really kind of focused on Unfinity of all things, which kill me. And then, pretty much that's kind of it. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Discord stuff and maybe banding around ideas. Maybe we'll have our conversation even online here about what to do about, our win-a-box, what format we want to play. So that's kind of the show we've got. So unless you got something else, we can go right into main phase, bro.
No, I don't have any fun high school reunion stories because I've never been to a high school reunion.
You really should go. It was worthwhile. I hung out with like one of my ex-girlfriends and her husband, so that was fun. And it was also, I have a name change. I used to go by Billy, so the whole weekend my wife was giddy every time somebody called me Bill or Billy. She was like, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. All right, going to main. Main phase. All right, main phase. So let's talk about the State of Standard, because we are in the final month and a half or so before rotation. And, yeah, we're pretty much where we were. A little bit. There has been some serious movement. I think, I don't know if it's the events they're trying to do or what, but it looks like, while Jeskai Control is still the top by somewhat of an 8-9% margin, Boros Aggro, which I do believe I said last show, I'm like, I think that deck could be something. It might have been a different deck. But that Boros Aggro deck is coming in at number 2 with Orzhov Control sitting at 3rd. But Orzhov is way behind it. Boros Aggro is nipping at the heels at 19.8. The funny thing I loved about that, though, is that the Jeskai Control deck tabletop price is about $350. No doubt because of the Goldspan Dragon, as well as, wow, the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is up to 51 for 4. So like $11. All right.
That's that card sees play, I think, in a couple different formats. It's kind of silly.
Huh. That's kind of cool. I should have put that in the Goblin deck. I might put that.
I have one floating around somewhere.
I might have to go find if I have one of those and put that in the Goblin deck, because that would actually work with the Goblin deck. And the Boros Aggro, the Boros Aggro is just, it's kind of like they took the white aggro deck and said, hey, let's put the Bloodthirsty Adversary and the Stormseeker and Cavalier and call it a day. And then Blade Historian just to make it fun. Oh, actually, it is mostly red. I'm sorry, Thundering Rage.
Yeah, this is burn with cheap creatures.
Oh boy, is it too? Yeah, the most expensive card in there right now is 4 Bloodthirsty Adversary at $14.
For the
But
well, I mean, other than the lands.
other than the lands. So I mean, that's that might be a fun. That could be
it's
a
$100.
Yeah, that could be a fun deck to get into if you have a standard event. I know
Yeah.
Flights is doing one. They're doing Pioneer though. I know they're doing a PPTQ. And I've been thinking about Pioneer. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking I might want to start. I bought a Pioneer like precon, one of the precons. I'm thinking about maybe jacking that up and seeing how I play with it. It's tough because you can't find anybody to play other than Spell Table. So
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to a store on a regular basis, you're playing on
or
Spell Table,
playing
you're
on
MTGO.
MTGO. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I love the fact that okay, there's a control and aggro, mid-range aggro, vampires control, dragons control. Again, standard's healthy. Standard is healthy. But I mean, I saw the professor put up, I think, the podcast that he put out months ago about like the health of standard. Sometimes I get a little concerned about standard with the lack of, table play, as it were. Before the pandemic, even most events were going for modern, and since the pandemic, most tabletop events are modern. I do get concerned that standard may get relegated to arena, and I hope not, because I haven't run up arena in a while. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I just haven't. It's not fun anymore. You have to play best of one most times because timing or what have you, and if you're not playing that, you're playing the same deck over and over and over and over again. I don't like the fact that they match your deck up. I don't like the fact that unlike in the store when you go on a winning streak and you end up playing other decks that have won and they could be totally different. I don't like that they look at your deck and go, okay, so he's playing Goldspan Dragon with a lot of treasures, so we need somebody who's running a lot of artifact removal. It's like, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel genuine. That's just my opinion.
I pretty much at this point I only play arena to play brawl, and I have a rule where I pretend that alchemy doesn't exist. So if I see an alchemy card, I automatically scoop.
Oh wow!
I refuse to play against alchemy cards. So
I get that.
So it helps me because it's like you have to. It is kind of a snobby elitist thing to do, but at the same time, it's like I want to have fun, and I don't feel like I'm going to have fun playing against alchemy cards, and I don't want to play against alchemy cards, so I don't have any other option not to.
I think people have finally hipped to. I think alchemy. If in our year-end review here in 5 months, I think alchemy will be something we talk about because I really feel that alchemy tipped everybody to how incredibly. I'm trying to think of the word that means like it's coming out. No, that it's coming to get you. The economy is
predatory.
Yes, the predatory economy, and I mean alchemy. Looking at alchemy and how it's built, and even things like alchemy. They've got Alchemy Horizons or whatever. It's so obviously predatory. It's making you pay twice for cards. It's making it. It's shit, and it's such a. And they keep trying. And Wizards has become somewhat tone deaf to the idea that nobody wants to play this format. Nobody wants to buy into this format. I think if Wizards really wanted alchemy to be a thing, what they should have done was say, when you get a card, you get both cards. When you buy, if I buy a...
Well, I mean, you technically still do. It's just that when you go into whatever format you're going into, that determines what version of the card you're going to get.
Right.
Which, I don't want to have to learn what a card does depending on what format I'm in.
Right.
And then like what they did with the Baldur's Gate cards, some of the cards in Arena are completely different than the ones in Baldur's Gate. And then there's the ones that have like 6 sides.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
then there's the card with like all the text because they thought they were being funny.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. I mean, so it's like it's if you enjoy it, that's great. I don't personally, so I avoid it.
And
whenever
hey, let us
and
know if you enjoy it. Send us an email out. Tell us we're being tone deaf. Call us boomers and all sorts of names. I'm down.
I'm completely being a boomer with like I draw the line at cards that exist in paper that were, changed.
Yeah.
for alchemy, like Omnath or Alrund's Epiphany, but like that basically kept their original text,
Right.
except for a tweak. But I draw the line basically at that. So any of like the Jumpstart Horizon stuff or any of the alchemy specific stuff, as soon as I see it, even if it's a land,
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I'm playing a different. I'm gonna roll up against somebody else. I don't want to play against.
And I wish there was a way, but they would never let you be able to say no alchemy cards. Like
not unless they did Explorer Brawl,
which
which
would be nice.
It would be nice. It's probably
Never going to happen.
I'm not going to say never. I think it's a low probability, but I don't think it's impossible. I think there is enough of a player base there. I think there's enough of an appetite for it. If they're not going to add Commander, that they need to have a format like Brawl or Commander or whatever that is like Explorer, where it's only printed versions of the cards. But sort of swinging back off of this tangent back to Standard. You were saying that Standard is healthy. I generally agree, although I do think that the metagame share of Jeskai Control is a little on the high side.
Really?
27% is kind of high.
Okay.
It's not high
as
enough for
oppressive as it's been. That's the thing.
No, it's not like, oh my God, something needs to get banned. I don't think it's anything like that. I just think it's like, okay, 27.2. All right, I'm noticing you. I see you. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. And if it keeps creeping up, then maybe something has to be looked at. But I don't think right now it's too much of a problem.
The 2 year ago, like some people have been wondering about that. I think at this point you can't. We're 6 weeks away from like.
You totally could. You absolutely could because the bans take effect immediately. And
when did they do it?
No warning.
When did they do it? They did it like.
It was like a month or 2 months before rotation.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I said then. I say now. I love it. I love that. I'm like, you know what?
I don't think they're gonna
but I do notice they did not put in this year. Yeah, release date September 9th. So they did not put in this year. They haven't put in yet play Standard after rotation. I think they know they don't have enough. I mean,
well, what do you mean?
Remember last year they let you play Standard. We were talking in June, and they set up that queue of play Standard post rotation.
Oh. Future Standard.
Yes. Like, I think they realized they don't have enough. Like, Zendikar Rising gave you quite a bit to at least play with a little bit. And
well, it may not be time yet. And they have a lot of other stuff. They do have a lot of choices for you.
Right.
I think part of the reason they did that was that, Explorer didn't exist.
Right.
Historic was still relatively new. Alchemy wasn't there. They didn't have as many draft options available either. I think they're probably feeling like there's enough variety right now on Arena, but I wouldn't mind it if they did it again.
Me either.
I do think I don't think it's a bad thing, but I also don't think they're going to do an early banning or early rotation, as it were.
Okay.
I don't think anything is there yet. I mean,
I don't
unless there's a big asterisk. If Jeskai Control gets up to about 35%, which I'm not sure that it will, but if it happened to do that, I think at that point they would be looking at banning something, and I don't know, maybe it would be Expressive Iteration, or maybe
I think it would be
Goldspan
Goldspan. I think they'd hit Goldspan, because Goldspan would also shut down a few of the other decks.
But that's all. But the thing is, like, that's already rotating.
Right. But you hit Goldspan. Well, that's just it. They would hit something that's going to rotate. You would hit Goldspan to make sure that something like Teamer Control didn't pop it. You know what I mean? Like, hitting Goldspan enables you to it really fixes the problem. Because the problem card in that deck, other than Expressive Iteration, is Goldspan Dragon. Let's face it, that card is and it's not even a bad card. I'm not even like, it's busted. It's just such a great card value. I think it's going to see play in Commander, I mean, at least in Dragon decks from now on. So, it's a pretty good. I think we're looking at a pretty solid Standard right now.
It's still in a good spot. Like I said, Jeskai Control is clearly the best deck, but it would need to be more crazy than it is for it to be really warranting major concern. I think right now it's just like, oh, okay, this is the best deck.
Right.
So it's obvious, but it's not problematic yet. We need to see what happens over the next week or two, but.
And Parkman says they did do something for a weekend out a month ago, similar to that, but for whatever reason kept out Midnight Hunt. Okay, so they did kind of do. It was probably one of their little special events. They wanted to see how the response would be. But the problem is, I mean, I don't think Aramis and I are unusual. I hear this a lot on other shows where people are like, I'm just not playing Arena anymore.
Well,
Like,
part of the problem too is that now there's a bug where the game loses all audio after like a game and a half,
oh dear. But
and it
it's
hasn't been
just,
fixed.
it's, I think it has mostly to do, I think Alchemy left such a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Yeah,
So, I
think
mean,
that's true.
I'm sure they have millions of people. If it wasn't working, if they weren't making money, they'd be going sideways and doing crazy
Well, they're
shit.
kind of shoving it down your throat. That's the thing.
Right. So, I'm going to be very interested to see how MTGO looks once Daybreak takes over. But on that note, why don't we kind of pivot off of State of Standard? So the State of Standard is standard. And let's talk a little bit about some news. So last week, mid-last week, Thursday, I believe it was. So it was my first day
Yes.
on vacation. You texted me and I'm like, I didn't even know what you were saying. I was like, oh yeah, there was a Twitch stream tonight? Oh yeah. They came out and did the Dominaria United kind of like promo stream is the best way to put it. It's they'll showcase a few cards, they'll give you a few mechanics, but they're really kind of talking it up before, in 2 or 3 weeks when they do pre-release season. So,
Right.
but then they kind of, and that would be fine, and that would be like, whatever, it's all seen this before. And again, I have to say this, weekly MTG. Your streams are freaking boring. You need to put people in those seats that are actual personalities, because when you bring a game designer in and he's like, why, yes, I have found that we have decided the design space for this set has been one that has been incredible. I mean, even doing this, I am sure somebody listening to my show right now in their car just fell asleep, and I'm sorry you hit that tree. But, like, come on, man. You're the flagship podcast, for crying out loud. Like, even Rosewater's podcast is 1,000 times better than that. You've got somebody to play off of. So, anyway, soapbox over. But, and again, I didn't even look at that stream yet, but I'm pretty sure I feel safe in knowing that it was a boring stream. Was it?
You missed. They had a nice video put together for I'm assuming the lead that you're about to bury.
Yes. But okay, that's fine. You had a video. Good work. You're trying. But did they have the designer in there?
It was Marshall Sutcliffe.
Oh, okay. Marshall Sutcliffe was like the other guy. Okay.
And a bunch of streamers.
Okay. You know what?
And then also WotC employees.
All right. Yeah, but that's the thing. The WotC employees that show up, they're the ones who are like, we decided that in the
Nope. These guys were excited because and it's largely because of what the video was about.
Yes. Oh, well, the video. There was a video. What did they show on the video, Aramis?
So, for those of you who are living under a rock,
or in a rock,
Dominaria,
we might have a rock listeners.
Yeah, true. Dominaria United coming out in September, and it's the beginning of Magic's 30th anniversary extravaganza celebration. Awesomeness.
Separate you from your moneyness. Yes, go on.
Yeah, well, they're going to separate me from a lot of my money.
Oh, no kidding, me too. Just don't tell the wife.
So, the story goes, and obviously, tinfoil hat time for those of you who like to wear tinfoil hats.
Oh, and it's out there. We'll talk about that.
Apparently, there was a warehouse closing somewhere in eastern Washington state, in the middle of nowhere. And inside this warehouse were literal cases of Legends booster packs. And we're talking like one of the first expansions of Magic the Gathering back in like 1993, 1994. And, Wizards, the warehouse was closing. So Wizards was like, oh, we didn't know we had this stuff here. So they grabbed it all up and they ripped through all of it. And what they're doing is, I am sad that it's in collector boosters, but I can understand why.
What did they find?
They found cases of Legends.
Oh, well, like what? Legendary? Like, I have Legends all over the place. I've got a card right here that's Legend.
I already said it. I already said it back then. You weren't listening.
I know I wasn't.
So yeah, so the Legends expansion from 1993, 1994, like one of the first ones, really hard to find. Like right now, the market price for a Legends booster pack is close to $900.
Yes.
So they opened all these packs. I don't know how many, but they said it was cases, pallets of boosters of Legends. And in 3% of collector booster packs of Dominaria United, there will be a randomly inserted card from Legends, like OG.
Not 3% of booster boxes, 3% of booster packs.
Of collector booster packs.
Right.
And they made sure to note that there are certain cards that will not be included in this. It's not completely Legends. You can't get any card from Legends.
Right.
Part of the problem was that back in the day, the way the print runs worked was a little wonky.
Okay.
And Legends is notorious for this. Legends, there's like an A print run and a B print run, and the way that it was done is like there's entire sheets of cards that aren't on the other side. So like the group of stuff that they had didn't include like Mana Drain and Land Tax and some of the other really like super popular cards in Legends.
How effing convenient.
But there was Tabernacle, which is the most expensive card in the set. Tabernacles are there, and there's other cards that are highly sought after that are there that are available in these packs. So you can theoretically open a collector booster of Dominaria United and get a Tabernacle, which is like a $1,500 card or more.
And there are reserve list cards, which is what's making...
There are cards on there that are on the reserve list, but this is not a reprint, so it does not violate the reserve list.
Well,
it doesn't.
I know. I agree with you.
The reserve list strictly said they will not reprint these cards, and these were the original printing, so it was not a reprint.
Right.
The other cards that won't be included are cards that were deemed culturally insensitive, so like Invoke Prejudice, Jihad, certain artists who have questionable stances on things had their cards taken out. So there's going to be certain cards there's going to be certain cards you're not going to be able to have access to.
Yeah. I understand the jihad and stuff like that. I'm just not sure. Like, it's just me, you know. Well, I get they don't want to pay the artist because they'd have to pay them the royalty for that sale.
Right.
So I get it. I get it from
if the person has said or done questionable things, you don't want to pay them for
but
their
it's
work,
like the other side of it.
With them.
Yeah, but then the other side of it is, you know, hey, you know, it's still, you know. But I get it.
So that was super exciting.
That is exciting. I'm very excited for it. It's funny because the Reddit groups I've been in. Well, tell us more, and then we'll talk. We'll go over some analysis.
They're also going to be including as the box toppers. There will be box toppers. There's going to be cards that are reimagined versions of legendary creatures from Legends. So, like, there's going to be a new version of Jasmine Boreal. There's going to be a new version of Torwalki, among other things. And they're going to be updated and sort of powered up to be, you know, where they should be for today, as opposed to where they were when they were first printed. You know how bad they were.
Right.
Because I think Jasmine Boreal was like a 4/5 for 5 that didn't do anything, and now it's a 2/4 for 3. You can tap to add a green and a white to cast creatures with no abilities, and then the creatures you have with no abilities can't be blocked by creatures with abilities. So they really powered her up, and they're available as box toppers, and
of any set, not just collector boosters.
Yeah. Any box
format,
you get is going to have one of those in there. But like as far as like original Legends cards, you can get a Moat, you can get an original Nicol Bolas.
Right.
You know, really good stuff is potentially there. I mean, there's going to be commons there too,
a lot of
uncommons.
Junk. Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
But
of
it's
junk.
even the junk from Legends is not going to be completely worthless because it's a 30-year-old card.
And John brings it up, so I want to talk about the other side of this because I've been on a bunch of Reddit groups over the weekend because there were some downtime, and and some of the Facebook groups. Now, there are. I still am amazed that this is a debate, but there is a debate out there about the reserve list and whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. And it seems to be, oh, yes, of course. It seems to be based upon the fact on whether you have a reserve list, some reserve list cards or not. And a lot of people, I saw in a Facebook group actually the other day when this came out, they're like, well, get ready, class action suit coming. We're going to go after Wizards for these Legends if it turns out that they're not, reprints. And a lot of people said the same thing that Parkman just said in chat. He's like, for the tinfoil hat crowd, paper that was used for Legends is different than what is used now, and no one manufactures it anymore. Same with the ink. He's absolutely right. So if that paper...
Well, they even said it. They said it in stream. Blake even said, you'll be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Because it's going to be obvious. But...
Yeah. And that's what they were saying. It's going to be very obvious.
And I saw a tweet just before I went out of town from a guy. I should have put it in the thing, but he's a MTG designer, and he said even, and I've been meaning to ask my friend Layla, who's a lawyer over there now, and I really should come up with a fake name for her, about that and be like, are they really concerned about this? Because he said we can never really abolish the reserve list, and there's almost nobody that doesn't want to, because Hasbro is very concerned that it will open up lawsuits of a class action level that if they lose would bankrupt Hasbro or Wizards, actually, because then they moved Wizards to its own line item. But I get it. All right, I get it. First of all, I hate the idea that we're such a litigious society that the fact that you have cards that are so valuable and then Wizards starts printing the same card, you can now sue them.
Well, it falls into the realm of promissory estoppel.
I know.
It's Wizards made a promise that they wouldn't reprint certain cards. They've changed that promise a couple times, but the basic premise of the promise has remained.
They've changed
since
the
they
list
made
quite
it.
a few times.
They've changed it a few times, not recently, but they have changed it a few times. But the spirit of the promise has remained unbroken, where they said we will not reprint these cards, and we will also not print functionally identical cards that would essentially be a reprint. So like you're never going to see snow duels that come in untapped.
Right.
You're never going to see that like without any drawback. So you're not going to see like snowy taiga. It's just not going to happen unless they decide F it, we're going to get rid of the reserve list. Which,
please,
Mark Rosewater says never say never, and I know he doesn't like the reserve list either. I'm not going to say it'll never happen, but I do think it's a very remote possibility. If it was going to happen, it would happen this year.
Right.
Like within this 30th anniversary celebration, this is when it would happen.
I think what it would really take is Hasbro divesting themselves of Magic.
Or needing a huge influx of cash.
Or no, but divesting themselves of Magic entirely, selling it off, separating Magic from Wizards, creating a new company that did not make that promise. So then, hey, we can sell whatever you want. Then it kind of gets around that.
I don't think that would happen because Magic is not a Hasbro thing to sell.
Yeah, it's a Wizards thing. They could,
it's a Wizards thing to sell. So Wizards would have to sell off Magic, and then the new company would be able to say, "Well, we're not Wizards," and then they could go back and reprint cards, ad nauseum.
So Nintendo needs to buy Wizards.
Nintendo needs to buy Wizards.
Because that's an interesting thing. Because when they made the reserve list stuff, they weren't Hasbro. They were still,
They were still Wizards of the Coast, and they did it in response to the disaster that was Chronicles, where they reprinted a bunch of older cards, and people were like, "Oh my God, it's going to go crazy." Magic is a completely different game now than it was then.
Right.
And I think, like the fact that people use these cards as an investment portfolio, I think is
short-sighted
not a great
and
idea.
stupid. Sell them now.
Yeah. To me, at rock bottom prices, pennies on the dollar. But like, it's a game.
Yeah.
And these are game pieces. And just because you played in 1993 and had these cards doesn't mean people who are just starting now shouldn't have access to them.
Right. We should be, or they should be allowed to be proxied in official stand, or the gold orders.
The basic version of the card should be dirt cheap.
Yes.
Or not, or should just, not have too much value associated to it, Basic dual land should be inexpensive. You want an expensive version of it? Okay, there's the alternate frame, there's the foil, alternate art. That's where all that stuff comes from.
There's the original. Yeah. Like that's just
and make it
originals
and make it super rare.
Value. Yeah,
make the alternate versions of the card super hard to find. They show up one in a box or one in a case.
But the originals are always going to be valuable because they're like
the originals will always have value because they're old.
Yeah, it's a really and hearing this, and it immediately starts a thing. And I actually got involved and called the guy a troll and got muted by the DM because I'm like, you're coming in here and you're saying this, and really, you're just trolling. Because I'm looking at because I hate to say this, I kind of looked at his Facebook and I was like, dude, your house has tape on the walls, and I don't think you have reserve cards, sir. It's just like, if you're going to come into one of those groups and represent like you have a ton of reserve list cards and you're going to sue Wizards to the hilt, maybe don't look like your house is up on, cinder blocks. I'm just saying. And again, that's not to anybody who has cinder blocks for their house, but
there's cinder blocks underneath my house.
I know there's cinder blocks underneath mine too. But you don't take pictures of yourself in front of it. But and you're not trying to say you have reserve list cards. In fact, we're going the other way. So,
I think I have some reserve list
do
cards.
you really? I'd like
I mean,
one. Yeah, I know. I'd like a dual land. I really would just love to fall into a vat of money, buy a dual land. That,
play the Mega tomorrow.
sure, why not? But
It's only $800 million.
I mean, the thing is, you look at this and it's obviously okay. Wizards found a box and they're monetizing it. I give them credit because if they just went out and printed up, 50 packs or however many packs it could have got off that paper, and that's just it. If Wizards was going to reprint Legends, Wizards would reprint Legends. And it would be its own Time Spiral remastered set. It'd be Legends remastered, and you got to pay like $75 a piece,
but that would violate the reserve list because most of those cards are on the reserve list.
I know they are. So, I just people are. Listen, if you're a reserve list player, first of all, the tagline "buy casual for casual," so I'm going to assume most of us don't have reserve list. But if there's somebody listening who's on who has a lot of reserve list cards, who considers it an investment, I'd love to have the conversation with you, and I will treat you fairly, and we will, I will not play sound effects over you that, of like, the guy from Family Guy saying,
Oh, no.
I won't do any of that, because I'd like to have the discussion because I can't for the life of me. I played in 93. I had some of these cards. I don't anymore. I don't fault the guy who paid me $2,000 for my entire collection in 2002. It is what it is. I
What
just...
happened to the cards that WotC didn't want to put back into the market?
Huh?
Park was asking, but what happened to the cards that WotC, like the Invoke Prejudices and the Jihads and the other cards that are no longer being sold?
They're giving them away as judge promos.
In all seriousness, they probably are just holding on to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would destroy them, which although I wouldn't put that past them.
I hope they would.
But
if they're not good
might.
enough to put into a pack, and you feel that they're culturally insensitive, that's a statement. Record that too. Here are all these cards. This artist is anti-LGBTQ, and obviously jihad, and is obviously culturally insensitive. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, show yourselves burning that crap. Make a statement that says money isn't as important, or put them in the packs and let us decide.
Right.
But,
well, yeah. So, but yeah, that's that's all of this stuff coming out with Dominaria. And they also, that's super exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm probably going to pick up a collector box.
I think that'll be, but if I can, we'll make that the booster box showdown. So.
Yeah. And then they also, they previewed some cards from the set, which was nice. So
yeah. And some of those cards are
interesting.
It'll be fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, and let's kind of pivot off of that to the story because there was another side to this. That's lore spoilers. So and guys, spoiler. If you don't like this, fast forward until you hear the Geek to Geek promo on your thing. So just keep hitting +30, and eventually you hear Geek to Geek promo, and you know we're past it.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll give you a little more time to find your fast forward button. So major spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear what happens in the Dominaria United story,
yes. So this is lore. If you don't care about cards, or you don't want to be spoiled on cards, but you don't give a shit about the lore, which is hi. That's me. Keep listening. Go on.
So all right. So one of the cards they previewed that gives a little bit away already. And I think that was on purpose. So the card is Shivan Devastator. It is a 0/0 Dragon Hydra mythic card for X and a red. Has flying and haste, and it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Cool card. Kind of sad that it's a mythic, but whatever.
It's a throwback, obviously, to trying to make Shivan Dragon relevant.
And the Rock Hydra, yeah. So, but the flavor text on this card reads: there were many reasons why Shiv was not high on Shieldred's list of places to conquer. Big, fiery reasons. So we know that Shieldred and the Steel Thanes are invading Dominaria. What we don't know is some of the stuff that happens in the story, but they are selling on Amazon the Dominaria United style guide or reference guide or whatever it is. It's some book that has a bunch of art and background information about characters and story bits. And some very keen observers that were on that page looked at some of the text. They read the text that you could read on there. And so for those of you who like a Johnny, I hate to tell you this, he becomes a Phyrexian. He is completed. Not only is he completed, he also ends up killing Jaya Ballard, which is a really big deal in the story.
Right.
She is, she's been around since the beginning of the game. She's one of the old walkers. Ajani is a fan favorite.
I'm in danger.
Just stop with the sound effects. I actually care about the story.
I know, sorry.
And I wouldn't do that to you.
I know.
So yeah, he's a fan favorite character, and he ends up becoming a Phyrexian, which he ends up becoming the very thing he hates the most. And he ends up killing Jaya. And we also end up finding out that Liliana's nemesis, like the one that's been sort of putting her in that direction that she was on for her story arc, the Raven Man, we find out he is actually Limdul the Necromancer from way back in Ice Age.
Yes.
Don't know how he survived all of this, but I'm sure he's working in league with the Phyrexians. And so, big time spoiler. I'm sure that's something they probably wanted to keep under wraps for at least a couple more weeks. But there it is. So spoilers are done for now. But it looks to be an interesting story. And I also know that it is going to be, they said that the story is going to take place over 4 sets.
So then obviously, Phyrexians. Like, we were totally right. They broadcast that shit amazingly.
Yeah,
we knew
this was coming. We knew this was coming.
So Phyrexians are the new Nicobolas, and who was actually a version
with
of
the new
Phyrexians.
Nicobolas. You mean it's the old Nicobolas?
Yeah,
they were around first. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's and I mean it's obvious here. The planeswalkers we're getting it's a Jaya, Teferi. Was it a Johnny? And
looks like a Johnny, and I'm not sure who else.
There's one.
Liliana's on the box.
Yeah, so it's Liliana as well, I think. So, yeah, and here's the thing. Please don't make Teferi as broken as he has been. I mean, they've done well the last couple of printings with Teferi. They've, Time Master was pretty good, and who does the Sunset or whatever, he didn't do anything. But it seems like also Planeswalkers are just kind of lately.
Well, you got to be careful.
They used to be.
You have to be careful with Planeswalkers because they're either underpowered or they're broken.
Yeah, it's like the Wandering Emperor.
There's really not much in between. They're either really good or they fill a niche somewhere, and then they're good in Commander or something.
Yeah.
But
so I'm
excited.
I'm glad to see the Phyrexian stuff come back. I mean, listen, I like the lore in as far as what it does to the game, but I'm the gameplay guy. I'm like, I just want to play the game. Like, I don't care. I care a little bit on how the story goes from this is kind of cool, but for me, I'm more along the lines of give me good mechanics, give me good gameplay. That's also why I'm not mainly a collector, which is why I'm like, get rid of the damn reserve list. But
so you weren't all floored when they completed Tameo.
No, I was like,
that was
okay,
that was a big reveal.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm thinking they're going to complete probably Teferi before this is done, or probably Nissa. Yeah, we should take odds on who we think will be the next one, because I have a feeling that's what we're going to see over this 4 sets. While the Brothers War, I mean, it's Urza and
Mishra.
Yeah, so they're like, this is over 4 sets, but they didn't say concurrently because the Brothers War goes back. So unless they're going to talk,
I think that one person on Reddit is probably still on track to being correct, where there's probably going to be time travel.
Yeah. So this is how we save with
Teferi's
Johnny.
and Dominaria United. So
watch this. This will be great. This is how we save a Johnny, and this is how we manage to bring back what's his face from like they'll undo like a crap ton of shit. Who died in War of the Spark there? What's his face?
Gideon?
Yeah, Gideon. So you watch. This will be like, hey, I've done it all. And, then we flashpointed magic. So, but yeah, I'm looking
Avengers
forward.
Endgame, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what's coming. I mean, like I said, pre-release stuff. They'll uncomplete Tameo. Yeah, exactly. This will let them have their cake and eat it too by completing a Johnny and completing Tameo and killing Jaya. They get to kind of, then they undo it. So it's like, see, we still have Tameo. Because, yeah, and that's why I'm like, they could complete Teferi too, because if you think about it, out of all of them, a Johnny, Tameo, and Teferi tend to fill a specific type of mechanic that is usually seen in almost every, at least, cycle. You know, and it's unique in that they don't have somebody else that does the same thing, you know.
Oh, and by the way, as far as planeswalkers go, we know that Chandra's there too, so there might be a lot of planeswalkers in this set. So it's going to be a war.
No, they said there's only. I think they said there's only 4. So
did they say that?
Yes,
I don't remember that.
So,
but they said it's going to take place over 4 sets, and that 2 of the sets are going to be coming out at about the same time. So it's going to be sort of like a Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow type of thing. But I'm assuming, praying, hoping that it'll be better than those 2 sets.
Right. Well, I
both
think
in gameplay and story.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Here's what I think is going to happen. They're all so excited about, you know, everybody, you know, and about Nissa and Chandra and all that. Boy, wouldn't it be something if they complete Nissa and she kills Chandra, or vice versa? Like, that just seems like a very much like that almost writes itself. But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming there'll be a body count.
Yeah. Well, I you know, and one other thing. Holy cow, the lands.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stained glass full art lands.
Which again, I'm liking that Wizards is finally starting to realize, and that might be a secret lair thing that they realize, is that lands are important. Lands are very, very important. Like, and you can't just print the same old silly lands. Like, we want full art, really cool looking lands. So I'm here for it. I hope it's I'm glad. So, but that's kind of our main one. Took a little bit of while. Let's go ahead and pop over to combat here after a quick message, and we'll be right back and wrap up the show.
When toxic culture has you down,
when you're just looking to laugh and have fun,
kick back and enjoy watching a video game,
or just make some new friends.
It's time to visit the Geek to Geek Media Network,
a community of podcasters, streamers, and bloggers.
Well, more of a family than a community.
All dedicated to geeking out about the things we love. Things like
video games,
Star Wars,
comics,
movies,
K-pop,
Disney Plus,
Keanu Reeves,
new,
or whatever our community decides is the next best thing.
That's right. We have a great online community on Slack and Discord where we chat about our weekly geekery with listeners and viewers.
And each other.
Yep, and each other in real time. And we can't wait for you to join us.
So come check us out at geektogeekmedia.com.
And escape toxic fandom for something much more...
Keanu?
Yes, Keanu.
And we cast a fog.
Main phase.
All right, so continuing main phase 2. The other big news that came out this weekend is Mark Rosewater. Wow, that's a hard name to say. Mark Rosewater. Okay, now that was easier. He did a live blog-a-talk on, I think it was Saturday during San Diego Comic-Con, focused almost exclusively on Unfinity. So,
yes,
I don't know how you feel about this set. I have interesting thoughts on it, but he came out and he said, yep, they're still releasing October 7th, and he gave us kind of some previews. One of the things I found most fascinating is he talked that there's going to be stickers, and I don't know how I feel about this, stickers that you're going to put over your cards to replace text on them, as opposed to saying, like, if you, up, like with a, oh, crud, that blue card, I use it all the time. That if I pay 6, I put it replaces target with all.
Cyclonic Rift?
Yeah, Cyclonic Rift. I was like, compelling argument.
7
No,
mana.
that's not, yeah. But, so, stickers are going to replace text on the cards. In some ways, I think that could be fun. I love the idea. I love the unsanctioned set because it was curated and all the decks were really well powered together. But I like the sets before it as well. They're kind of fun, and usually they always have really great lands that you want to have in decks. But, I mean, how are you thinking about Infinity? Like, I mean, how did you catch any of this, or are you jazzed about it at all? Or
I didn't catch any of it. I'm not super interested in Infinity. I don't think I like the fact that the stickers are going to be legacy legal.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
And that means Commander legal as well.
Yes, I believe that means Commander legal.
For the
Although
cards that are legal to be played, like the Acorn cards are still never to be played.
Acorn cards are not. But that's that's a house rule thing.
Yeah.
But I believe the cards that are not Acorn, and there's one of them is a common. I can see it. It's the Carnival Carnivore. Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you get a sticker, and you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you control. I believe that is legacy legal.
Oh Jesus!
And that's my big problem with it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like the idea of having a fun goofy set of exploring design space that wouldn't normally make it into Magic. But I preferred it when it was silver border.
Yeah.
I like what I understand the idea behind the Acorn, but that's going to be a hard thing to track all the time. Some of the stuff that they put Acorns on feels like it would work in regular Magic, like the Far Out enchantment that says rather than choose the indicated number of modes for spells and abilities, you can choose one or more modes, and you can't choose any mode more than once. That makes sense. That seems like something you could do in regular Magic, but it's an Acorn card, so it's not going to be legacy legal. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like fun. It seems like a cool thing to do, and again, it's if you find it fun and enjoyable, that's great and that's awesome. I'm never going to hate on that. But for me personally, I'm not super interested in this.
Parkman's right. Yeah, go ahead and put a sticker. See what happens if you try to put a sticker on one of my mocks.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe the stickers are legacy legal.
It's
well, and that's good. If it's legacy, then you wouldn't have to worry about a sticker in the mocks because the mocks are banned in legacy.
Yeah, but if he's like, okay, so I'm gonna put this sticker over your Black Lotus. The hell you are! But I didn't know they were legacy legal. Now I'm kind of wondering what the cantrip guys think.
I think they are. I think they are. I'm not 100%, but if I remember what I read or heard, is that they are. I can find that out.
So that's insane. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. I mean, I'll play it. I'll get a few packs. I'll go to a draft or something. And I mean, the thing I liked about the Unsanctioned was it was put together so it was like you couldn't really screw with it too much, and you just always had a good time. It was like really good for quote unquote newer people, where for Unfinity to really be worthwhile, you pretty much there's not really enough cards yet to build a constructed set. So it's kind of like you have to draft. You don't have to know how to draft or sealed well. You have to know how to do your limited. So I'm kind of down with it though. I'll probably do an event or two. Obviously the lands are exciting. Everybody wants to look at the lands.
The sticker cards are legacy legal.
Oh my god. Oh, go on your cards.
If they don't have the Acorn, it's legacy legal. And Wicker Picker has no Acorn. And creature spells you cast have Sticker Kicker 1.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it is also only for your stuff that you own.
Yeah.
So even if you gain control of a Mox, you wouldn't be able to put a sticker on it. So that's good.
Yeah. I just look at stuff like that and I'm like, it's kind of cool, but it's also like, isn't Legacy broken enough?
Well, and it's like, how many times are you going to be able to use these stickers before they
go bad? Anymore? Yeah. And then the other thing I got to think about is, you're right about the Acorn, and I thought of something the other day that they could do, because I was, for some reason, thinking about this. I guess I understand how paper works and how ink works, but why not make green in, light green if it's an Acorn card, light red if it's an Acorn card, light blue if it's like change the color the way you would with, or work gold in through it somehow, or silver. Work silver in somehow the way you do with the gold borders color-wise. Like, to do that, but still have the black border, it's a far more visual way of doing it than trying to find an Acorn sticker. Because somebody's going to go to an event and have one of these cards in it and then get DQ'd because, you should know your cards. And that's just not a feel-good. So... But that's kind of what we had. We're coming up to the end of the show. Let's talk a little bit. First of all, again, our Discord, and we talk about it during our end step, but I have put into the Discord the LFG bot, I think it's called, or it's an arena bot, or not arena bot. It's a spell table bot, spell bot. Thank you. And what it is it's a way for you to go in and hit /LFG and you set, the format, you set the number of players, you can tag your friends, and, be like, hey, let's get a game going. And the minute you get 4 on that game, it will then start the game for you in spell table, give you a button to click, and take you right over. It's so much. I'm going to try it, I think, with our next Commander Craft. I'll put it in the Commander Craft channel. That'll be how we do it. So, but yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I was like, this looks like a really kind of neat way to do things. Kinetic keeps trying to do something in there. I've done a few. It's definitely worthwhile. So check it out. It's on our Discord. The other thing we should talk about is, what are your thoughts? All right, so if September 9th is the release, we should really start getting the Win-A-Box promo ready. Or the Win-A-Box contest. What are your thoughts? What do you think the format should be this time? What would you want to see?
Well, rotation is coming up.
Yeah, what did we do last time? I
think we did standard last time.
I think we did just do standard last time, yeah. Before that, it was historic. we could try Explorer.
Historic Brawl, yeah. We could give Explorer a shot. That's there's no alchemy there.
There's no alchemy there.
So I'm okay with
Parkman. You're in our chat. You're kind of the only one in our chat. What do you think? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking Explorer. If not, I don't want to say historic Brawl and no alchemy because that's a real lot of policing that we have to do.
It's almost impossible to do that because there's so many cards that get changed.
Yeah.
No, let's give Explorer some love. I haven't seen too much Explorer content. There's tons of it out there. I just haven't seen it. But why don't we put some out there?
All right. So I think that's going to be our idea. And if anybody has a problem with this, email us. But I think what we're going to do is, and I'll start putting it together next week, and it'll go to the patrons first. Explorer Win-A-Box tournament in Arena, which is basically Pioneer Light, up to the currently legal set. If it goes past where Dominaria United comes out, can't use it. There's not a Pioneer Legends anything coming out anytime soon in Arena, right? We're not screwing ourselves here.
There's an Explorer anthology and a Historic anthology coming out
we gotta
in the
find
next
out.
couple of weeks.
All right,
but it'll be before Dominaria United releases.
Well, then maybe we put it off.
Hold on. Let me see when that is because they talked about it.
Because I don't want to do it and then all of a sudden people's decks go sideways.
Yeah, hold on. MTG right.
Full spoiler date July 27th, release
July 28th.
So the full spoilers will be done in 2 weeks. They're already spoiling it?
Yeah, there's in Historic they're adding Goshen Tide of Life's Origin, Tarmogoyf, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. In Explorer they're adding Favorite Hoplite, Supreme Verdict, and Kalitas, Trader of Geth.
Oh my God, they're adding Thing in the Ice. Holy shit! Yeah, I'm down with Explorer. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to let Explorer Anthology. So we have to find out when's that releasing.
It's this week.
It's coming to MG later this summer.
This week.
It is coming this week?
Yeah, Thursday. Or, Wednesday. It's coming on Wednesday. The full card list on Wednesday. They'll be available starting on Thursday, the 28th.
All right. So, yeah, so we're good. All right, then it's definitely going to be Explorer. Hell yeah, it's going to be an Explorer. So, I'm biased against Singleton formats, though. Yeah, we're not going to do Singleton. Oh, Snapcast! Hey, thanks for the follow. But yeah, I'm thinking Explorer. So guys, listen, think about your deck list though. It is a 4-of set, much like Standard was. So, and then after that, we'll try to figure out if there's a way to do, Historic Brawl without. I guess you gotta do it with the damn alchemy cards. It just sucks. It sucks. All right, everybody go out and start getting. Everybody needs to go out and start getting.
Well, we'll just be like the LGS that you posted with the ban list that was 5 miles long.
Wasn't that cool though? I'm surprised Dave has never done that.
I hated that.
I know. You know what though? I'm surprised. It seems like such a Dave thing though, for his Wednesday.
No.
I get what they're doing. You want to keep it casual, and somebody dropping a Mana Vault, Mana Crypt.
Yeah,
Soul
but
Ring
Soul
turn
Ring's banned there too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Soul Ring's banned there too. And if someone walks in with a precon, all of a sudden their deck is illegal.
Yes, Snapcast. It was in our Discord. I posted it about a week and a half ago, and I mean, it had some gems on it, dude. It had Soul Ring, Mana
Any extra
Vault,
turn spell.
Mana Crypt. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up. It's so hard to read on Discord though. You have to click open original so you can zoom in. I mean, obviously it had the Moxes, which I think are already. Mana Vault, Mox Amber, Crim Monolith. It had counter spells, Fierce Guardianship, Pact of Negation, Force of Will. Tutors, 2 CMC tutors and under, so demonic, worldly vampire. I mean, it's like every fun card that you love to play and spend a ton of money, you can't play here.
Yeah, it's basically any card that made the owner of that store feel bad, he put on the list.
Snapcast, yes. And aren't these cards like staples to the format? Yes, they are.
Pretty much.
And yes, Cyclonic Rift was on the list.
I mean, yeah, is it a feel bad when a rift gets fired off and that person doesn't have a win condition?
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it's an emergency button, you break the glass.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, my Angel deck has a Nevin Rills disc in there. Why? Because I'm a spiteful, evil, horrible man. And if I'm going to lose, I want my finger on the damn button. Because if I'm losing, y'all reset.
Like Sylvan Scrying is in there.
I know.
Mean, come on. What?
So yeah, so all right. So it's going to be an Explorer Winner box. I'm just going to announce it. I'm going to put it into the patrons, get them ready for it so that they sign up next week. So here's how this works. Patrons will get first dibs. I think I'm going to keep it. Do we want 16 or 32?
Try for 16 and expand to 32 if we get
16.
If we get it.
All right. So I'm going to give it to the patrons first, as usual, to have 1 week exclusivity or at least 5 days. I think we've been doing 5 days. Usually by Friday, I'm like, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading this list.
Oh, isn't the list great? We could do. You know what? This might be content for next week.
What kind of format is Time Stream Navigator a problem?
Excuse me, sir. That card is so salty. Forget about it. You put that on, it's like putting a bottle of salt on Five Guys fries. All right. At the end of the day, what's the point?
Salt is good for fries.
All right. Snapcast says he wants an episode on this list. That might be next week where we just
we'll go card for card.
I mean, because don't get me wrong. I think if you're making
come on.
I think if you're making a casual night, though, I get it. These are somewhat non-casual cards.
Time Stream Navigator is not a casual card. Are you kidding me?
I know. I'm not saying it's a perfect list.
Activate the ability. It's a 4-mana 1/1.
But we're at an hour and 5 minutes. So
get this list away from me.
It's gonna be our next week's show, man. It's pretty much gonna be main one.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. Let's go to End Step.
End Step.
All right, so as Aramis and I are picking up our cards, rolling up our playmats, putting our pizza boxes next to the trash, because damn it, your mother still does not work in the Sam Goody store, we want to remind you guys to open your notes before you start down End Step, and that we also have a Twitch channel where we stream all sorts of content. Look up the Planestalkers podcast channel on Twitch, and there you'll see all the shows we do on both Magic as well as other geeky games. You can also follow me on Twitch at Mindcrime73. Where I've been doing a little bit of Minecraft occasionally, but for the most part, I'm playing a lot of Spell Table in my spare time.
If you want to interact with the show on a more real-time basis, we've talked about it a few times during the episode. Discord.planestalkerpodcast.com. That is our Discord. It is a great community. Now is a good time to join because we're going to start gearing up our next Winnabox. But that is also where you go. You have to be on the
Discord for the Winnabox.
Got to be on the Discord for the Winnabox. But that's also where you go if you want to join our Commander Craft games. It's where you go if you want to chime in during the week, maybe get a game in and randomly, and just talk with people who care about the game and other things going on. And they're just a bunch of friendly folks.
Wow, Snapcast! Thank you so much for the subscription too. That's cool.
Sweet, thank you, sir. But if Twitter is more your speed, you want to follow us there. We fire off the occasional tweet, usually just about maybe random goings on or when we're going live.
We might Wednesday at the event because we do it at events too.
Yeah, we might be doing some tweeting there. But if you want to follow us at PlanestalkerPod on Twitter, that's where you'll find us.
And my personal Twitter is at WR Benson. Now I tend to only follow. I don't really tweet a ton. I tend to just be on there to follow my favorite, bands and things of that nature. Like, lately I've been really huge on just following, former Senator Bob Dole, rest in peace. And so, of course, you can always follow us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/planestalker. I was trying to come up with an obscure name, and that's what came up.
Well, it's fine. He tweets more often than Trump does on Twitter.
Well, yeah, because now he's also dead now. Still tweets more often than Trump on Twitter. Like and follow our page there. Don't forget, we also have our Playcast. This Wednesday, we'll be on site at the store. The sponsor of our Commander Craft show is Flights 2, so we'll be there Wednesday night in Albany, New York. If you're in the area, come on down. We'd love to have you. We're playing monocolored commanders that night, so it's going to be... I've got 3 decks. I've got 2 red and a white. So
I got 1 for each color plus colorless, but it's not Eldrazi, so that can be on the table.
I think I could hear Dave now going, your Goblin deck is not casual enough. So that's why I was like, I better have a second one. Even though I think the Goblin deck on our spreadsheet is going to come in surprisingly low.
I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to play mono black.
Yes.
But I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring all 6. And
your mono blue can be kind of oppressive too.
It can be, but it's more of just an annoyance than anything else. It's not Jingataxius.
No.
So I mean,
have you thought about swapping Thassa for Jingataxius?
The thought has crossed my mind. But the problem with that is that it needs a lot of cards that are in other decks, and I don't feel like proxying them right now.
I don't blame you. So it's going to be a lot of fun Wednesday night at 7. So tune in for more.
I'll leave it like this. At the end of the Marvel movies where they always have that little tagline, Jingataxius will return.
Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma. No.
Something like that.
Yes.
But so finally, if you want to send us an email, you can send us emails. There's 3 different places you can go. You can email us if you have a question or comment about the show, maybe a suggestion for a comment. Maybe just you have something you wanted to say and felt like one of the other methods wasn't good enough and you wanted to fire off an old-fashioned communique.
Or encourage us to respond to you on air, because we pretty much read every email on air. So
if
even
we get
the
an email on air,
ones.
we will read it. Yeah, we'll read it. Usually Will reads them, and he usually makes fun of them.
I don't make fun so much as I just have comments about how insane you are. Unless they say how wonderful they are and how epic my beard is. Then I fall madly in love with you and we run away together.
There's the stakes. You lose the next you lose the next box bonanza, you got to shave your beard.
Fuck that. Not happening. First of all, nobody wants the chins, man. The beard hides the chins. I'll go as far as stop dyeing the beard.
Okay. All right. But yeah, anyway, 3 email addresses. The main one goes to both of us. It's podcast@planestalkerspodcast.com. If you want to email one of us directly, you can email Will. His address is will@planestalkerspodcast.com. If you'd like to fire one my way, it's Aramis, ARAMIS, @planestalkerspodcast.com.
And on that note, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. It's been great. It's good to be back. We will be back next Monday with the regular show, where I guess we will go over this little Commander Craft list. But also, yes, Wednesday night, don't forget, we will be live doing Commander Craft from Flights 2 in Albany, New York. For Aramis Perez, this is Will Benson saying thanks for hanging, thanks for listening, thanks for being a part of the show. And remember to always keep some of your mana untapped, because you never know when you'll need it. Have a great day, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now. I really tried to drag that 6 seconds, because I love hitting that mark, man. If I can get right to the key change, where I usually pot it out. All right, hit and stop. Now it's the post-game show. Don't go away. Oh, I love it. Snapcast, glad I found this. Don't go away, Snapcast. We're still here. Yes, so did you see any of the SDCC stuff about Star Trek?
I saw the teaser trailer for Picard. I saw the teaser trailer for Lower Decks, but that was not when it happened. That was like yesterday. I saw them.
Oh, I put the Picard one up on ours, so
I haven't been in Discord in a week.
Oh, dude. I'm loving the Picard one for 2 reasons. Number one, it looks like Worf is still in Starfleet. I was like, ooh, he's got captain's pips. So I'm like, all right.
Remember, they wanted to make the Captain Worf series.
Yes. Albany is a great area. I lived in Saratoga Springs for 3 years. Yeah, I live about 30 miles west of Saratoga Springs. I live in a town called Broadalbin. Yeah, I liked that. I was like, and then, you turned out to be right. Because it said it right there, early 2023. I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. So, but yeah.
It'll be good, though. It'll be nice.
It'll be good. I'm really glad they're going to Deep Space Nine for Lower Decks, though.
I wonder if that's just like a one episode thing.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure they're not hanging out there. But any chance to go on DS9 and have, I mean, it's obvious they're not going to have, they obviously can't have Nog. They can't have Odo.
Right.
Unless I could see them having Odo as just a pile of goo. But I think that would almost be wrong in a few ways.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that to Odo.
I could see Nana Visitor coming out of mothballs. I see Bashir coming out of mothballs. Neither one of them. I mean, they do things, but they're not doing things. Garrick, obviously.
I got a cameo of Nana Visitor.
Huh?
I got a cameo of Nana Visitor.
Yes, you did.
She was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
She seems like somebody that would be really cool to hang out with.
Yeah. And they might use voice clips, but I hope they don't. Because I'd like them to pay the actors. And it's not hard to record a voice anymore. I mean, it's just this Mike here is like,
And Nana Visitor is a voice actress, so
yes.
she'll do it.
I'm sure she'll do it, and I think Alexander Siddig is as well. So obviously Armin Quark is, yes. I don't want to say Zimmerman. I think it was Armin Shimmerman. He's obviously and everybody knows Odenkirk is.
And Avery Brooks might do it too. Although it'd have to be some sort of a weird thing because he's not technically there.
And here's the thing: if they're using this to kind of tell us what happened to Cisco without, doing a full blown DS9, sequel series, which I don't think you can do now without Aubergenois.
He kind of went back to the Link though, so they his character arc kind of ended there.
Well, that's just it. But they've always said he even said when he left, he's like, we'll see each other again. He was like, he knew it was not permanent. So
yeah, true.
So I just hope if they use it to do that, I'd be even happier. But its odds are good. It's going to be something stupid, like funny stupid. I mean,
no, they're going to be screwing around. I'm not expecting anything super serious.
So it's going to be obviously it's going to have to be Quark and his dad and his brother Nog or Rom.
Yeah, Quark and Rom.
It'll probably be Quark and Rom.
Well, Rom wouldn't be there because he's the Nagus.
That's true. So it'll obviously be Quark and Kira will probably be in charge of the station and
Although at that point, I imagine Kira would probably be the head of the Bajoran military.
Yes. So I want to see something good though. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, it was kind of neat that SDCC is back. That is one of the things I've always wanted to do. Now, I would have rather done it more in the 90s, early 2000s than in the last 15 years or so, because that's when it was really focused on comics before Marvel really hit it big and all of a sudden it turned into this movie fest of like hodgepodge of pop culture as opposed to like a Comic-Con. But San Diego Comic-Con is one of those things you still, I think every comic nerd wants to do at least once. So, and I'm still one of them. So, plus, I mean, it's, Kevin Smith was there, like, doing his thing. And now, are you a Kevin Smith guy?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I just haven't seen really. I've seen Clerks.
Okay.
But that's about it.
You haven't seen Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. Okay.
No,
because I'm very excited for Clerks 3. I surprisingly,
I figured you would be.
Surprisingly excited for Clerks 3. But I mean, here's the thing: Clerks came along when I was in college. It was the perfect. It was 100% hit me right between the eyes. So and then the Universal thing altogether, and the way he built a universe, he was like one of the first, cohesive movie universes was his thing, and. Yeah, I'm just a huge fan. I mean, even his worst stuff, and I mean, he has some stinkers, but Dogma was partly shot a few blocks from where I lived at the time. He went all over with that movie. I liked Dogma for what it was, but yeah, in any event, so But otherwise, I'm looking forward to it. When does Lower Decks start?
November, I think.
Oh wow,
No.
They can't have no Star Trek for 4 months. That'd be insane.
No, maybe in August. I think it's August.
Yeah, it's got to be August. And something else is coming around there too. There's a August 6th. Something else is coming out from. I mean, and Disney Plus went all through the whole like what they're doing. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to She-Hulk. I really kind of looking forward to She-Hulk. The second trailer was much better.
I haven't seen the second trailer for that yet, but I'm already interested. I'm going to start. We just watched the Eternals last night.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start watching the various series. Like I watched the first season of Loki, but I haven't watched WandaVision or Falcon yet, or Hawkeye or Moon Knight, any of that stuff yet. I'm gonna be going through all of that.
Yeah, WandaVision you'll need before Doctor Strange, the new one.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well, we have to sort of take a right turn with the movies because we're doing this with my son. For those of you who don't know.
Oh yes.
We're going through all the Marvel movies in order, chronological order, as far as the story is concerned. And so we have to take a sort of a segue break, and he has to watch the original Spider-Man movies because the next one is Far From Home.
Oh, that's right.
So we have to take a break because we have to get him introduced to J. Jonah Jameson.
Right. You're not going to introduce him. You're not going to make him watch, though, You're not going to make him watch the other one, are you?
What?
You're not going to make him watch, like, not Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield's ones, are you? Because those are just horrible. They're just dark.
It's part of it.
I know, but
I've never seen the second one anyway. So
okay. The second one's even worse than the first one. I was like, oh.
I enjoyed the first one.
Oh, okay.
I love Spider-Man as it's presented. So I think the way that they did, having finally seen No Way Home, I think the way they did it was really cool. So it's part of the story. He's got to watch it, good, bad, or indifferent. He's got to watch it. Because a lot of the villains in No Way Home are from the second movie, so you got to see it.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad he has to put up with
it. He's enjoyed all of them so far.
Yeah,
his eyes have not been jaded by society to the point where he has these
wow
of what a movie should be. He enjoys it innocently, as all of us should when we watch a comic book movie.
Wow, that hurt a little. I'm not gonna lie, that hurt a little.
That's what you get for the sound effects.
Oh, the sound effects were funny though. I think everybody loved it. It was a moment where I might actually get nominated for like a Webby Award on that one.
Webby or a Razzie.
Oh wow, that hurt too. Funny, Amazing Spider-Man won, I think, a few times. But yeah,
he's gonna watch them all. And
all right.
So it's gonna be a bit of a delay because we generally watch one every 2 weeks. So that's gonna be 5 movies he's got to get through before we get to the next Spider-Man movie.
Well, what if?
So that'll give me plenty of time to watch the
curate
series.
These a little bit. Oh no, you got to watch 3 because of Sandman. Because I was gonna be like, what if we get him to skip the Tobey Maguire dance off? Like, you just go 1 and 2. Yeah,
you can't skip the first of the Tobies because it's the origin story.
Right.
And Green Goblin's there. You can't skip the second one because Dr. Octopus.
Right.
You can't
and
skip the third one because of Sandman.
Yeah.
And you can't skip the first of the new Spider-Mans because of the Lizard. You can't skip the second of the other Spider-Mans because of Shocker.
If they only hadn't used Sandman, and they didn't even use Thomas Hayden Church, like he never showed up on set, he just did voiceover. I'm like, crap. Like, I'm trying to help you here because, oh God, even the third one was dog crap.
They did it on purpose. The third of the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, yes, that one was bad. I was disappointed in that, largely also because Venom and Carnage are my 2 favorite characters.
Right, and they didn't need to be in that movie at all. Well, and you could tell
Carnage wasn't there. Right. Carnage wasn't there, and then they kill off Venom. And I'm like, why would you do that to basically his greatest villain?
Because, hey Nick, they did it because Sony insisted. That's why it seems so shoehorned in. Like, if you think about it, if you look at it from a plot standpoint, Sandman makes sense.
Oh yeah, he just kind of shows up for like 20 minutes, and I mean, it looked kind of cool, but then it's like,
And then you've got Topher fracking Grace. Like, I gotta admit, I love Tom Hardy as Venom. I think Tom Hardy would have been a great Eddie Brock.
Therein lies the rub right now, is that after we watch those 5 Spider-Man movies, do we throw in Venom?
Nah,
because
it's just
that
an end scene and it doesn't do much.
yeah.
So
You'll have to watch them eventually because it is technically part of the Spider-Man universe.
right, but it's also violent, dude. I'm not sure how your boy does with that.
It is.
It's pretty.
It is.
It's pretty hardcore. If you can find
I mean,
a
he's not
TV
gonna watch
edit-
He's not gonna watch Deadpool for a while.
No, and I can't wait till Deadpool 3. I'm actually on board for that. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting time. I like the way you're doing it. How are Marvel going to deal with it in Secret Wars? I think they're going to do the second Secret Wars Parkman. I don't think they're going to do the original. So, because don't forget, they put a Secret Wars out in the early 2000s, and they just called it Secret Wars. It didn't have any. It had very little to do with the Beyonder. I think they just put them on Battle World, and that was it. It was crappy, but I'd like to see, and I'm glad they're going to do. I'm glad they're going to do more Tom Holland. Like that came out too. Is that Sony's going to look to do more Tom Holland movies?
Okay,
So,
good. I was wondering about that
yeah.
because I was curious how they were gonna, how or if they were gonna work that in.
Right. Well, that's just it. I think, he did leave a piece of symbiote. Yes, Nick. He left a piece of symbiote in the Marvel Universe, so that might be how they could work it into Secret Wars. But I think they'd do something like have it infect Ant-Man or something. I don't think they'd have it infect Tom whoever. Yeah. So, in any event, why don't we, this seems like a good place to end the stream. So Wednesday night, we'll be at Flights 2 playing monocolored commanders. Angels, Goblins, and Torbran. So, yeah. And you've got one for every color.
Yep, I got mono white keyword soup Odric. I've got mono blue Thassa ETB triggers, mono black Kurix Storm, mono red Kikijiki Group Slug, mono green Gargos Hydra Tribal, and colorless Traxos.
Right.
No Eldrazi.
Yes. Because, I mean, if he's like, we don't want same colors, I'm hoping, it's like...
That's one of the greatest things for me about having one of
Yeah.
every color. Is like, oh, we already have these ones covered. I still have three options.
4. Oh, no, there's 3 other dudes, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Wednesday night, we'll be at the store. Nick, you're welcome to come in if you have a monocolored commander, man. If not, put one together. But we will catch you guys later. Have a great night, a great week, and we will see you on Wednesday for Commander Craft. All right, have a good one.